All right, y'all, get in here. It's time. We're going to have a conversation. The jacket is on, so you know there's going to be some backhands dealt, because that is, when I go Fonzie, it's a situation. Guys, what we're about to talk about is a whole lot of things. The death of DEI at the hands of a federal court, that's pretty amazing. We're going to talk about the SAVE Act and how this is literally the chance to not only save the elections, but also save John Thune's little butt. And then we're also going to talk about the Democrats crashing out, amongst some other things that we just need to have a conversation about. So if you guys are enjoying the content, if you like the channel, if you like the ideas of the channel, if you want to help cut through the propaganda like a knife through fog in a Bugs Bunny cartoon, this would be the place to be. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are grinding to save the country. Give it to somebody, the next generation, because we actually have a next generation better than was given to us. Because, you know what? Leave it better than you found it. I know a lot of you are down with that mission. As we get in here, of course, let me know if the audio video is good to go, and then we will be off to the races. And of course, you can follow me on X at Braden LOA. This one is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have a little bit of a monologue mixed in with a little bit of that appetizer that we normally do per our usual SOPs. Standard operating procedure for those not in the know. And I thank each of you for being here on this Friday night to wrap up your weekend or your week with hopefully some greatness. We'll see how it works out. That's the goal, though. All right, guys. As you know, audio video is looking good. Of course, comments, chats, and emojis make the world go round. You guys know the rules. Once I chat it, once I type it, once I pin it, it is on. So chats, comments, emojis make the world go around. And guys, this is going to be one of those episodes I'm going to need you to send out. I'm going to be honest with you, because we're going to have a little bit of a monologue here in a second. I'll get to it briefly. Now, last bit of housekeeping before we dive into the deep end of freedom. You guys are enabled and you are deputized in the chat for when those loyal lefties walk into the chat and they start spewing their leftiness. You guys honor the chat, defend the honor of the chat, the sanctity of the chat. You are all deputized as deputies of freedom, so make sure you guys take your part and place in the circle of life. All right, let's get right into this. You've had your warning. You guys are going to follow me. You're going to like, you're going to share, I hope. Now let's keep going. All right, guys, this is going to be a thing. This is why I put the jacket on. We're going to have a conversation, and I need to hear from you guys on this one in the chats, the comments, the emojis. I just need some feedback on this. So, if you're not familiar, I'm not going to play this clip. Don't worry. But I am going to use it as an impetus for the monologue that we're about to go into. This is Nick Fuentes. Now, Nick Fuentes is a thing, whatever, fine. Everyone has their freedom of opinion. I don't care. Good talk. Go team. This, though, I have to address. I cannot wait for the Democrats to take the House. Nick Fuentes tells everyone to stay home in 2026, and that is the design and the inspiration for the monologue of which we're about to go into. Come here. As you guys know, for the last few episodes, I've kind of been a little hard on the doom and gloom, the chicken littles, the sky is falling, the panicans, as the Trump White House calls them. Not because I like to be hard on them, just because that concept doesn't make sense to me. Right? We saw this exact same thing. The veterans in the chat, the veterans in the audience know from the 2A space. There's no shortage of it over there either. Right? We're all in this together. But there's something that I just want to bring to the attention. If the main point is I'm frustrated with Republicans, or I'm frustrated with MAGA, or I'm frustrated with Trump, fill in your frustration point here. And bear with me. I need to hear you guys in the comments on this one. If your frustration is I'm not getting everything that I want, so I'm getting 80% I want or 75% that I want, I'm getting a majority of what I want and I voted for, but I'm not getting 100%. So therefore, I am clearly and obviously going to either stay home or not take place in voting, which is my birthright, which will take my 70% of things I like down to 0 and increase your 100% chance of things that you despise to 100. Why would you do that? Honest question. I understand protesting. I understand being upset. I understand providing feedback. I understand saying like, this is not what I voted for. All those things are well within the realm of possibility. Go team. But what I can't understand is I'm not happy with 65%, so I'd rather have 0% or even worse, minus 100% because the lefties are going to take over when I do what I'm threatening to do. I do not understand it. It is like cutting your nose off to spite your face. Only a lot more extreme. It's like cutting off Florida to spite the country. That's a good example. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Again, I understand if everyone's not perfectly happy with everything. That's perfectly fine. But to go out down the road of saying like this, I cannot wait for the Democrats to take the House when you espouse to be a Republican or a conservative or an American first person, and you're talking about giving the power to the people who are literally leftist communists. I don't see how that achieves the goals. Again, everyone can say anything that they want. I'm not picking bones. I'm not throwing fights. I'm just saying, objectively, I don't understand the mentality behind that decision and thought process. That's all I'm saying. Because it leads to the next part of this little monologue. And that's, oops, sorry, wrong button. And that's why I wanted to bring this up. Because honestly, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because if you do this, and I'm gonna go hard on this. Honestly, I will continue to be going hard on this because this mindset is self-defeating and it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. If you do this, you get this, because you can go from I'm unhappy with everything that is not going 100% my way. I'm only happy with 75% or what I want light to holy crap, what just happened? This voter is from Virginia. And this is an important piece to this entire puzzle. I'm going to play this, and she's a little disillusioned with what just happened with their new governor. I mean, this is a case of FAFO, but FAFO not only extends to Democrats who vote for Democrat leftist politicians like Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, it also applies to people who say, heck with this, I'm not going to vote, and then I'm just going to be pissed for the next 4 years versus the next 4 months. Objectively, I'm just saying. All right. Let's get into this and we'll keep on trucking. Again, let me know what you think in the comments, chats, and emojis. I think this is an important conversation. Let's get it.
When I tell you this is the perfect time to move the fuck out of Virginia, why I just saw all these damn taxes they are proposing. Like, I'm just not understanding why that's even a proposal right now. Why are we proposing all these damn taxes? We already pay car taxes. When I tell you, like, this is fucking ridiculous, bro. Like, I am starting to believe, like, Democrat, if y'all keep going down this path, I don't know how much longer y'all gonna be able to be in office. Like, as a long life Democrat, it is just so frustrating how they keep running on affordability. But then they get in office, and it's like you.
Yeah, we know. Welcome to the party. Of course, everyone on the conservative side of the spectrum and on the Republican side of the spectrum, or the MAGA side, or the conservative side, or the Republican, I don't care what you couch yourself as. Every single person was like, y'all know what's about to happen in Virginia, right? With this woman. And the attorney general who said he wanted to see Republicans' kids killed in front of their mothers. You know you're voting for that, right? Yeah, we're voting for that. But Trump sent a mean tweet 10 minutes ago. Okay, well, enjoy your 50 new taxes. Enjoy your extreme gun control that has been dropped. Don't worry, I'm covering them. I'm accruing all of that. And now you are going to have that affordability life that you were chasing with 50 or 100 new taxes, one of which affects people above a millionaire status. Great job. Really, really great job. FAFO doesn't just come for Democrats. FAFO also comes for Republicans. I'm just saying. Someone's got to say it. And the last thing that I want is to deal with a situation where we've got a lot more power for a lot more blue because a lot of people were very unhappy they didn't get 100% versus 75%. I'm not saying they're not valid in their concerns, but I am saying, hey, maybe we don't jump off the Titanic. Just saying. All right. But anyway, let's go back to this. I'll get the super chat in 1 second. Here's the rest of this little point. Anyway, let me hear what you guys think.
Have you all seen, if you live in Virginia, I suggest you look at the new taxes that the new governor, whatever, Spanberg or whatever her name is, just proposed. I want you to go look at it. It is ridiculous. What? We're fucked.
No, you voted for it. You voted for it. And this is the big point that I want to really drive home again. You voted because women's rights were going to be taken for abortion rights. Congratulations. You just got that. You just got anti-ICE material that's been put out throughout Virginia. You got extreme gun control. They're infringing upon your financial situation through taxation. Yeah, you did great. You did fantastic and amazing. By the way, they just redistricted everything about 2 minutes after she was in office. This is the whole point. Of course, they lied to you. It was a campaign tactic to get you to vote and do exactly like you did. And then you're shocked when Democrats, the tax and spend Democrats, who rail against millionaires and billionaires all the time as their status quo go-to tenet of their party, you're shocked? Why are you shocked? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you only voted on emotion or something that may or may not happen to you. You know what? Enjoy the bed you made. But the one thing that I absolutely do not want to happen for our entire country, for my children, your children, and everyone that you know, is I do not want this experience to go to everyone in the United States because this is the tactic. This is really, really, really short-sighted. Y'all do with that what you will. We're going to move on to the next piece. I think I have made my point. Let me know what you think in the comments, the chats, the emojis, of course. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. One of the new coming attractions on this channel is I'm going to be parrying on the left with this one, and then I'm going to be fighting off the rhinos on this side. Because honest to God, both are like wolves circling the population. I mean, like, my God. You got rhinos trying to take over the Republicans and kick MAGA out, and then you got the liberals trying to take the country to communist socialist China. Other than that, it's a great time. Don't worry, I got 2 hands and 2 swords. Let's go, baby. All right, let's keep on trucking because this is really, 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 really important. Where we're going right now, this is the spot. You're either going to be John Thune the hero or John Thune the villain. That is the way this is going to work. The SAVE Act has been dropped. It has been introduced. It has been scheduled. And if you guys are not familiar, the SAVE Act is what means you have to have an ID to vote. I know, it's weird. And then you have to be a citizen, even weirder. That's been now scheduled on the floor of the House. That is going to happen next week. So now that it's already passed the House multiple times, which it's going to pass again, it's going to be up to the Senate. And it's all about John Thune. And if he fails on this, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to have extreme negative ramifications for the entire election if he does not come through with this. Because this is the last chance, hear me on this, last chance that the Republicans in the Senate are going to have a chance to pass any type of legislation that is meaningful before the election. This is it. Because then the elections start, then they're out of the House, then they're never in office, then they can never vote, then they're all campaigning all the time. That's the way that this whole thing works. The entire year going up into a midterm election is always them getting reelected. That's it. Right? That's why the first year in a presidential term and the first year after a midterm is always the big legislation year because the rest of the time they spend trying to get elected. So this is about to be the thing. And before I show you this clip from Chip Roy, I want to say the super chats real quick. I saw 3 come in. I owe you guys these. Neil Jackson with a $10 super chat. You get a heart. Thank you, Neil. We've got another one right down here, which is Neil Jackson again with another $10. Kamala stated everything you needed to know. In order to fight climate change, we needed to lower the population. That explained abortion rights and transgender surgery on kids. I mean, not wrong. Not wrong. And EHF with a $5 super chat. I like how they say racks the rich, like Scooby-Doo. Tax the rich, but questioning how Ilhan Omar went from broke to multimillionaire in less than a year is a racist conspiracy. Also true. Yeah, because she was corrupt as hell. Anyway, let's keep on trucking. Thank you for the super chats. Here we go. This is what is happening right now while everyone's worried about all this really stupid stuff. This is what's happening on the floor of the House. Okay, watch this.
Hey everybody, it's Chip Roy from Texas 21, and I'm standing outside the House chamber where next week we are going to move, thanks to the leadership of the Speaker and Leader Scalise, we're going to move H.R. 7296, the Save America Act, legislation that I filed over here in the House and that my friend Mike Lee filed in the Senate. This is common sense legislation. It will require citizenship to register to vote, and it will require voter ID at the polls. This is an issue that polls at something like 80%, regardless of your race, regardless of your background.
All right, so that's the thing. And I do see Constable right there. I actually did see her. I haven't seen her in the last few days because I've been over here and chats have been flying. But I do see Constable. Hello, Constable. Doctor. Welcome to the party. All right, this is the whole thing, guys. This thing polls at 80% across the board collectively, 90% with Republicans and 71% with Democrats. This is literally like, you don't get anything easier than this, okay? Make the Democrats stand up there in perpetuity, forever, ad nauseum, and explain why it doesn't require an ID to vote. Please, God in heaven, it is manna from heaven. It is literally like election fodder raining down. It is cake. I mean, goodness gracious. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And before we go to the next tab, got another super chat. Tommy Damer with a $10 says, follow on to your guidance, grind, vote, etc. If you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain about that you don't. Wait, excuse me. Let me read that again. Follow on to your guidance, grind, vote, etc. If you don't vote, you have no right to complain that you don't even have your 75% of what you want. Yes, exactly. That's the point. I would rather take a go for 100, land at 75, time for opportunity to get better than a guaranteed minus 100 because we just went so far socialist commie that it's insane. Anyway, another super chat. Marsha Willis with a $10. I am an ex-Virginian as of December. Congratulations. There are 4 cities that dictate the elections in Virginia. Virginia Beach, Charlottesville, Richmond, and Northern Virginia. The rural vote doesn't count. No, it doesn't. I know it doesn't. All right, let's keep on trucking, guys. We've got so much to do, so little time, and it is Friday. I don't want to waste your time on this beautiful wrapping up of an evening and a week. All right, this is it, guys. Right here, you're seeing all the forces on the Republicans line up. I've already told you multiple times in multiple different videos that Trump has said it, Senate Thune has said it, Speaker House Johnson has said it, Luna said it, Burchett said it, Chip Roy said it. It's scheduled for a vote next week. This is the push. You're going to see it now or never, right? A new Republican push to pass an elections-related bill known as the Save America Act is underway in Congress. As Democrats warn, the proposal could disenfranchise millions of eligible voters. Bull crap, and I'm going to show you why. All right, another super chat from Speedy Mike, $5. Stay on point, never stop grinding. Another one from Leonard Johnson, $10. Can someone explain why Slick Willie and Hillary want public hearings instead of behind closed doors? I want to see what those two asshats have to say. I don't blame you, man. I mean, honestly, they're on the way out anyway. Like, I'm just like, can you just go away? I still have to contend with the idea that they're floating Kamala Harris and AOC as their next ticket. Like, do y'all understand what we're facing down the barrel? Like, an AOC and a Kamala? Oh my God. I mean, in one hand, thank you, Jesus. On the other hand, oh, that's a lot of annoying clips. Anyway, I'm just saying. Oh man, I got another one. Stay on point, never stop grinding, said Speedy Mike. All right, you hit that one, sorry. You get twice. And another account has a lot of numbers and letters. $2 super chat. Did you see the Trump posting about Obama's hoax? The Obama's hoax. No, it wasn't a hoax. He retweeted a video and it got a mad resistance across the board. Then he took it down. That's simple. Anyway, let's keep on trucking. Honestly, it was a silly thing to post. MP1876, $20 super chat. Making the Dems explain why voter ID is bad is like asking them to define what a woman is. Exactly. You guys are on it. That's why I love you guys. I have the best audience in the entire commentary game. I'm going to be honest with you. You guys are above and beyond expertise. But now let's keep on trucking into this. This is why this is such a low-hanging piece of fruit. And please send this out. Guys, you can clip it. You can look in the description box with all the articles, sourcing, everything. All the receipts are down there. I want this to be a force multiplying show. Please take it. Run with it. Go repost it. Do whatever you want. But here's the thing. 81% are in favor of voter ID. 81%. That's according to a poll that was out 245. That is February 4th and 5th with 1,000 registered voters. 81%. You can't get 81% of Americans to agree on what a man or a woman is, or the color of the sky, or the color of the grass. I mean, like, you can't get them to agree on anything. Voter ID? Absolutely. I made the reference and joke last night that you've got one party in the United States, which is the left side of the aisle, which can't define what a man, woman, or human is. They make up their own pronouns. Some think they're foxes. Some think they're ficuses. Some think they're whatever, and they're polyamorous, and they love rocks one day, and they love a tree another. I mean, literally so scatterbrained. Even they are like, yeah, we need voter ID. Like, guys, like, oh my God. This is why this is so important. Okay? Because you can push this through using a standing filibuster and make all the Democrats get up there and explain why they don't want voter ID when 81% of the population wants it. You cannot go wrong in this move, Thune. Just saying. That's why this is so important. But let's keep on trucking, because again, seriously, clip it, take it, run with it. You have my blessing. Now, this is why I want the standing filibuster, because you've got real geniuses like this guy, Jamie Raskin, about to explain to the American population why voter ID is bad. I'm going to show you a few more Democrats, but imagine this on a filibuster, them trying to actually land this plane and the amazing clips that would come from this. Watch this. Take it away,
What's
Jamie.
wrong with to say that? What's wrong with it is that it might violate the 19th Amendment, which gives women the right to vote, because you've got to show that all of your different IDs match. So if you're a woman who's gotten married and you've changed your name to your husband's name, but so now your current name is different from your name at birth, now you've got to go ahead and document that. You need an affidavit explaining why. And why would we go to all of these the troubles in order to keep people from voting when none of the states that are actually running the elections are telling us that there's any problem?
That's it. That's the move. You've heard it from everyone. You've heard it from Democrats in the House. You've heard it from Democrats in the Senate. You've heard it from media acolytes. Even there, look at Casey Hunt's face. Even she's like, this is the lamest excuse for an excuse I've ever heard in my life. Particularly when 81% of the population says, do this, idiots. I mean, goodness gracious, that's your big move. And you know what? Come here. I'm going to be a little bit more direct with this one. The party that always tells us we speak for women, and the party that always tells us we condemn women to a kitchen and barefoot and pregnant and all that kind of stupid crap that's archaic and dumb. They're telling us that we think women are stupid. They can't identify what a woman is, but when it comes to voter ID, all of a sudden it's, well, obviously this is bad to women who have just been married and they're taking their husband's name, which is a sign of the patriarchy, by the way, if you're on the left. But anyway, in this case, it's perfectly fine because it serves my example. So therefore, women are so stupid, they can't figure out how to change their IDs in order to get on passports to go on honeymoons. I mean, like, think of all the women. You're going to violate the 19th Amendment because they are so stupid that they can't change their IDs in order to vote. I mean, like, how heartless are you? And that was sarcasm. But my God, how can you not make that argument? I can do it in 10 seconds. You think politicians and staffers can't do that when these idiots get up there and do that on the Senate floor? I mean, my God, it is wild. Oh, anyway. Night Whisper's Grace says, what kind of idiot thinks like this? His name's Jamie Raskin, and he's a ranking Democrat. That's who. All right. Jeremy Wills, tonight, no jokes tonight, Braden, I promise. You almost got me again. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fall to it. Anyway, this is the whole point, guys. Voter ID is racist because, you know, women are going to get married in the off chance that they do get married and then they're not going to vote. And it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, because honestly, the lefties aren't getting married anyway. It's a sign of the patriarchy, and then they aren't reproducing either. So, like, why do they care about that? So really, it's only going to affect conservative women and conservative men. So really, they should be totally fine with it, right? I mean, it's the most idiotic. It's the exact same argument that when they say voter ID and requiring ID to vote is going to infringe on black Americans because they are too stupid to figure out how to get an ID. It's the most insulting crap you could ever imagine. It's like victimhood status taken to an nth degree of stupidity. I mean, it is just, God, it's so incredibly frustrating. I'm getting a little bit on a rip here, guys. All right, let me hear you in the comments, the chats, the emojis, of course. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, turn the notification bell on. We are going to be fighting lefties on this side, righties on this side. The rhinos are coming for us. We got to hit their stupid horns. And then over here, the lefties are just like chanting anti-ICE and like down with everything. So it's quite a time right now. All right, got a super chat from Prepper03 with a $20. Same people saying that the streets aren't seeing a problem with voter fraud are the same people saying that fraud in the welfare and government programs aren't happening either. Yeah, you guys are the best. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. I freaking love it. All right, here's another example of what they would do if they just continued to make them talk about this. Watch this. This is wild. This is a senator from California. You know that guy who burst into Kirsty Noem's press conference and then got arrested because he didn't identify himself? Yeah, and then cried about it? Yeah, this guy.
The real agenda here is to exploit immigrants in their desire to rig the election this November and hold on to power. That's what it's about for Republicans. We've got to stand up for it. Stand up to it.
It sounds like you're not willing to negotiate on voter ID. Senator, I do want to ask you one.
Go ahead. Voter ID is a solution in search of a problem, because the truth is voter fraud in America is exceedingly rare, study after study.
Okay, I'm going to say this again. And guys, please understand where I'm going with this. I'm laying the groundwork. I'm literally doing the Republicans' work for them. Because all you have to do is get them on the floor and make them make these arguments on camera, and you have everything you need for the election. On top of the Dow Jones breaking $50,000, on top of mortgages going down, housing prices going down, rent going down, gas going down, interest rates going down. Literally, I can do this all day. But you know what? Absolutely. Let's be like this and just say, I can't wait till the Democrats take back power. I get flummoxed. That's what I do. I am absolutely flummoxed. Shouldn't be surprised, but whatever. All right, which one was I on? Oh yeah, this guy. So this is an important thing. I gotta wrap this guy's thought because again, I said this last night, and again, this is so easy. It's wild. So your concept for having unsecure elections and not requiring an ID for your voting rights for an entire population is that we're going to leave the system wide open and not fix an obvious flaw in your hypothetical because there hasn't been a problem reported yet, so we're just going to leave it wide open for that problem to actually happen. So when it happens, then we can say we have a problem. That's your big solution. Your big win here is it hasn't happened yet, so we're going to leave everything unsecure so it can happen in the future. That's your big argument. That and women who are getting married are too stupid to get IDs to vote. Those are your two arguments? Republicans, are you taking notes? Please God, this is not difficult. This is in fact easy. Goodness gracious, I swear, if I want to grow up and have an easy job, I'm going to be a politician. I mean, God. All right, super chat from Steve Rousseau with a generous $50 super chat. Thank you very much. Thanks for all that you've done to help keep us all informed. You've helped us vent, kept us ahead of the game, and have supplied us with a lot of comic relief. Thanks, Braden. Well, I hope it's comedic relief in a positive manner, not like you're laughing at me like Constable does. But that's okay. I appreciate my loyal lefties either way. Oh, hold on. Look, I'm going to give her some credit. Hold on. We're gonna bring her right up to the forefront. Constable Autumn says, let me be crystal clear. Your SAVE Act ain't passing. Okay. I respect your opinion. If it does, I hope you're there for that episode. All right. Let's keep on going. We got lots of things to talk about in so little time. All right. This is the other piece that again, when I told you earlier, it wasn't that long ago. It was like 5 minutes ago. In politician world, in the current news cycle, that was like a week ago. Speaker Johnson just said it too. Guys, the forces are all aligning. If there's ever a shot for this, this is the shot for this. If Republicans don't deliver on this when they have this amount of public support for it and they have the ability to do it, then they're in some deep crap. They are, objectively. Because then it becomes, it's not that the Democrats stopped you. You had an option, you just didn't do it. That's where it becomes a problem. Now, here we go. Here's Speaker Johnson.
Look, we are going to be fighting for the SAVE Act. And I'll tell you why this is so important. We passed it twice in the House. And we will pass it again. The SAVE Act just simply says you have to have verification of citizenship to register to vote. That's about a 90-10 issue on many of the polls in this country. And we're going to enhance it by what the president calls the Save America Act. And so it would be proof of citizenship to register to vote and voter ID, which is also about an 80 or 90% issue on the polling nationwide, depending on who you talk to. These are very important things to ensure that our elections are free and fair and safe. And that's a critical component of maintaining a constitutional republic. So this is a big priority for not just House Republicans, but for the American people. Look,
This is the whole thing right here. This is it. I mean, honest to God, I will objectively tell you, if they don't do this and they drop the ball and fail on this in the last attempt before the election, it's going to negatively affect them and have very long-term ramifications for the Republican Party. It's that simple. But here you're seeing it. He just said it, citizens and voter ID, which you think would be common sense. Even Constable would think that was common sense, unless she's one of the 9% in the population that thinks that's not a good idea. But anyway, you got the House, you got the Senate, you got the president, you got the members, and you've got the population. That's what I was trying to say. Democrats and Republicans. He just said it's a 90-10 issue. There has never been a bigger issue of pressure on Thune to do what they're asking him to do. Because if they don't deliver on this before the election, there's going to be negative ramifications. It would be on Republicans, flat out. And I wouldn't even try to snow you. It would be on Republicans. But that's not on the principles, cores, and ideals. That's on the individuals. Let's continue. All right, so what's this one? I kind of forgot about this one. Oh, yeah. So this is where you have your normal acolytes going out. This is CNN's Abby Phillips, whom I have no issue with, but I think this is a pretty silly point. And you're going to see where I'm going with this in a second. I'm pretty sure Scott Jennings is going to make it. Doesn't matter. Watch this.
Substance here. I mean, you mentioned maybe younger voters, even voters of color, but actually there's also concerns that a lot of rural voters might be disenfranchised by this. And in general, more than 9%, according to the Brennan Center analysis, 9% of American citizens of voting age, 21.3 million people, don't have proof of citizenship readily available. At least 3.8 million don't have these documents at all because they were lost, destroyed, or stolen. Over 8% of self-identified white Americans don't have citizenship documents readily available. A large percentage of Americans don't have passports, many of them in red states. So, I mean, I get the idea that Republicans think that this is like a one-up on voter ID, but it could also be something that kind of is like the door slamming them right back in the...
Okay, this is one of my favorite things on the entire planet. Y'all hear me on this one. When Democrats, or those who are Democrat aligned, come out and say, Republicans, think about your voters. Think about your votes. It could backfire on you. You don't want that to happen. It's one of the biggest red flags on the planet. When Democrats are like, Republicans, you don't want your voters not to show up, do you? Come on. Rural voters, white voters, people of color, 3.9 million people in the United States out of a population of 340 million don't have these documents. I mean, it could really backfire on them. I personally, as on the internet right now, I will absolutely take the chance that it's going to backfire on us. Since you're in approval and we're damning ourselves, please by all means pass it. We'll deal with the ramifications. That's what the Republican answer should be. Because here's the big bottom line, and I'm just going to be really, really candid real quick. I don't care if you're white, purple, black, brown, whatever color. I don't care if you're a nine-horned, three-eyed purple people eater. I don't care. But the bottom line is, if you are motivated to vote and you want to take part in your civic duty, of which, by the way, only about 30% of the population actually does, which again, by itself is mind-blowing to me, then you're probably going to be motivated to say, I should probably get my documents that are completely free and completely available from the federal government or the state level government at my request that get mailed to me whenever I want them in order to vote and exercise that right. It's kind of like one of those things, like if you want to do it, you'll find a way to do it. I don't know. To me, it's just kind of like you didn't prepare or do the right steps that you knew were coming. So yeah, you missed this term. Do it better next time. I don't know. Why is that difficult? Why is that hard? It's like accountability thing, you know? If I don't pay my taxes, I'm pretty sure I don't get a pass to go, because I couldn't read the documentation, so I guess I don't have to pay you this year. No, the tax man still cometh. Anyway, see, I'm getting like spicy. I'm glad I put the jacket on for this one, guys, but that's the whole point. This entire thing is boiling down to, if you want to do it, you will find a way to use the free available resources. If you don't, you won't. Fine. Personal choices are sometimes hard. All right, and that's not even a hard one. Anyway, this is the other thing that I absolutely love, and this will wrap this little segment, this part of the segment. We got more, though. Don't you worry. There's so much more coming in the show. So this is the part when MSNBC is telling Democrats, like, you guys, knock, knock, who's there? 91% of the population. Watch. This is MSNBC. You've seen this on a couple of shows, but I'm going to keep on playing it because it's really important.
Poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0. And I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting. For instance, if you...
By the way, just an editor's note, he's not talking about the KKK, which was run by the Democrat Party as an instrument of intimidation against African-American voters in the South, which instigated the original gun control against the entire population, which then the Democrats somehow magically adopted against the rest of the population, and then also continue to intimidate the African-American population in the real Jim Crow era. But not that one, though. He's not talking about that one. He's talking about a different one. So don't get it twisted, guys. What I just said, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something else. Because Jim Crow 1.0, I wouldn't crack that door open if I was Democrats. But anyway, let's keep on trucking. By the way, all that's true and factual, Constable. You can look it up. All right, let's keep on going. I love Constable. She adds so much to the show.
You're a woman who got married and changed your last name. You won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against. If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against. This is vicious and nasty. And I said to our Republican colleagues, it will not pass the Senate. You will not get a single Democratic vote in the Senate. We're not reviving Jim Crow all over the country. And when the American people...
yeah, you guys got rid of that in your own internal archives. I remember that. All right, let's keep on trucking. See, guys, wasn't that fun? Feeling a little spicy tonight. All right, we're at a break point. This is the point when you get that refill of that beverage, because we are cruising. The momentum is built. The chat is flowing. The comments runneth over. We even have our loyal lefties that are here. I've seen it happen right over there. So remember, you guys are deputized with the power of the chat. Sanctify in the name of the freedom that our country espouses. And of course, if you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are looking to expand our influence and save the country, whether it's through the Instagram account, which is growing at 30,000% a month. Thank you very much. Or the X account at Braden LOA, or on this channel. We are loving every second of it, and thank you. Could not be possible without you guys. Thank you so much again. All right. I got another super chat, though, I think. Hold on. Did I get another thing? Making sure I'm not, like, tripping. I think I saw a couple come through. Yeah, I saw two. Okay. Oh, nope. I saw a couple more. Guys, you guys are being generous. Shanarella with a 199 says, we are governed by lunatics. Yeah, a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. A little bit. Neil Jackson 29 with a $10 super chat. Long time listening. First time here live. Just wanted to there's a typo. Hold on. Wanted to tell you how great you are at spreading the word. Well, thank you very much, Neil. You get a heart, and thank you guys for being here with me. It is a partnership, not just this guy. All right. Night Whisper Grace with a $5 super chat. When I have to renew my driver's license, I am required to verify my voter status. Yeah. Thank God, man. That must have been hard for you. Mitchell Ryan with the 499. How many votes do we need in the Senate for this to pass? An excellent question, Mitchell. Here's the answer. So it depends how you do this. You can do this one of two ways. It goes through the House, it goes to the Senate. Right there, you have the filibuster. That's the reason that nothing passed in the Biden era. That's the reason nothing's passed in the Trump era, with the exception of the one big beautiful bill, which was done through reconciliation process, which is budgetary related, which is why the parliamentarian was involved. That whole shenanigan, that's not the point. The point is, the reconciliation requires a simple majority because it's budget related. That's why they threw everything in that bill, and certain things got thrown out and certain things got put in. That was the whole reason. That's why it passed and went through. That's why you had the no tax on tips, you had the no tax on overtime, and you had the no tax on Social Security. Those three things were because they were financial. That's why they were in there. Okay. In this scenario, it's not financial. It's not budgetary. So what this would have to do is go through the normal legislative process. And actually, I'm going to go big for this real quick. To go through the legislative process in this manner, you have to get past the filibuster. The filibuster is 60 votes to end debate on a topic. Okay, that's called the zombie filibuster. That's what they call it. So in order for that zombie filibuster to be satiated, you have to get, in this case, 7 Democrats to vote and say, okay, we're going to stop this whole thing. It's stupid. We're just going to pass the law, and we're going to pass the cloture vote, which is what they call it, and then we're going to go ahead and vote on it. That's not going to happen, just like the Republicans didn't do it in the Senate, right? Now, what is possible and what they're pushing for is to do a different type of filibuster, which is basically just changing the rule and using something they already use. It's called the standing filibuster. The difference is the zombie filibuster means you can sit there and say, we're not voting for it, eat rocks, die. And on the standing filibuster, you have to actually stand there and you actually defend your position, and you keep on going until you just run out of time talking. Now, the reason John Thune has put forward that's a hesitant move for him is because it burns up all the time on the legislative clock. And what he's saying is they could burn down a lot of time. I don't really care. Do it. Make them stand there, because if you're worried about the election, that's really, really good election fodder to let them do that, to go up there and do that. But anyway, that's the answer. So you would need, in the standing filibuster, you would need 51 once it was done. In the zombie filibuster, which is the rules now, you would need 60. You're not getting 60. That's why they're talking about the standing filibuster. That's what all the hubbub is about. But excellent question, and I hope I landed that plane and explained it to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat about my explanation, and if I can clarify anything further, I will try to catch it in the chat as it's going. All right. Shenarella with a $9.99. Been tuned in for a while. Finally caught you live. Thank you, Shenarella. I am glad you finally caught me on a live. It's great to have all of you guys here. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. All right, let's keep on trucking, and particularly the ladies in the audience, because we have a large percentage of ladies who have found the channel, and that's incredible, because that's rare for political commentary in our space. So thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate that. Wait, I hit the wrong button again. Dang it. All right. Man, see, I'm human. I hit wrong buttons all the time. I haven't hit the audio button in a minute, so that's good. All right. Now let's keep on trucking. We've got something to talk about. We're right at 40 minutes. Excellent timing. 2,000 people here. Incredible on a Friday. This is a big one right here. So, y'all, I'm not lying to you. There is a bigger than no chance that the runoff in the Texas Senate primary is not going to include the incumbent. Because John Cornyn is behind both of his challengers. The guy in the middle is Representative Wesley Hunt. The guy on the right is Ken Paxton. Now, both of them are conservative. John Cornyn, I don't think he's going to win the nomination because he's absolutely a rhino. You know how I told you earlier in the stream, fending off rhinos on the right over here with this sword and then lefties over here with this one, right? Because they're all going for the soul of the population. The GOP is like, ooh, MAGA's going to die when Trump's gone. And we're like, nah, fam, that's not happening. And then lefties are like, long live communism, comrades. All right. This is important, though, because it's real possible that Rhino John Cornyn is not going to be in the runoff, which means he wouldn't even have a chance at all. So you would be left with either Representative Wesley Hunt, who is a House member out of Texas. He's very recognizable. If you've heard him talk on the floor or any of my videos, he always talks like this because he's Representative Wesley Hunt. And that's the way that he talks. It's just very, very iconic the way he delivers things. And Ken Paxton is obviously the Attorney General of Texas. So what you're dealing with here is whoever wins that little bout is going to go against either Jasmine Crockett, please God, Jasmine Crockett, or James Tallarico, the guy who says Bible's down with abortion. Yeah, so it's going to be quite a thing. Lots of things to do on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed and tuned in because this is going to be a party. M&P 1876 with a $2 super chat says the standing filibuster shouldn't last too long. No, it shouldn't because they're all geriatric. All right, let me show these numbers real quick. Ken Paxton is at 25.7, Wesley Hunt 25.1, and John Cornyn, the incumbent rhino liberal dressed up in an R from Texas, is in 22.4. Oh my God, it would be the greatest thing on the planet if John Cornyn did not make it through this. Oh, God, it was so good. Jeremy Willis with a $2 super chat says, looking forward to voting in this primary, as you should. And here's some very similar things. This is from Signal. This is a bigger poll, and this is from the end of January. This is a big one, guys, because if you get a Wesley Hunt in there, or you get a Ken Paxton, both of them are pretty strong on the Second Amendment. Both of them are pretty strong on freedom scores, and both of them are pretty conservative and outspoken. Personally, I lean towards Wesley Hunt. I'm not an endorsement or anything like that, but Wesley Hunt, whom I've seen a lot more stand up for a lot more important things inside federal halls versus Ken Paxton, who used the AG's office of Texas to go after a lot of things as well from the Biden administration. I think that Wesley Hunt would be a more effective person, and I think Wesley Hunt would neutralize James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett significantly better. My opinion. It's not like an endorsement or anything. But anyway, that's that. So that's an update. We will keep you updated on that as we go forward. But now, this one, I saved the best for last, the cherry on top. I sure hope Constable's still here because this is going to be fun. And guys, of course, let me hear in the chats, the comments, the emojis. 2,100 people here on a Friday night. You guys are absolutely incredible and amazing. Thank you very much. Hey, Braden, how is Brandon H. doing? That's Brandon Herrera, my buddy Brandon. He is still running against Tony Gonzalez in the Texas district race. I do not know. Obviously, I cannot speak for his campaign or I can't speak for him. I honestly don't know the internals or the polling on it. I try to just observe from a distance till we get a little bit closer, and then I'll dive into that a lot more because it's a House race, and you're still in the primary phase. But I will keep you updated on that. This one was a thing. Let's just move into this for a second. You know that whole thing about Donald Trump's destroying the economy? Yeah. This happened today. Holy crap, the experts are stunned after the Dow just hit 50,000 points for the first time in history. It's an all-time high, on track for the 5th record close of 2026. So, hey, Dems, when you want to start doing that whole affordability push again, I look forward to it because the ICE thing ran out of steam. Or it melted. Whatever. All right, let's get it. You just got a Wesley ad making money off you. Whatever. I don't care. All right, let's keep on going.
Because here we go. The Dow is now above 50,000. And it is happening now. 50,004. John, there it is.
That was today.
This is an all-time high. I believe it's the We're on track for the 5th record close of 2026. The market is bouncing back from what was a really uncertain market all week. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ getting hit by a tech sell-off. And here we go. It is off to the races, up almost 1,100 points, 2.25% gain.
2.25% gain and breaking 50,000 for the first time ever, all while tariffs are still in place. Please, experts, tell me more about how everything's going to fail and basically implode. Just going to leave that on the screen for everybody watching, especially our loyal lefties. 50,000. Just saying. All right, let's keep on trucking. I'm sure there's some more things I can find. Oh my God, this is just for fun. Who had a better approach on immigration? Trump or Biden? Wow. Let that speak for itself. Trump had it better by 19 points, even with all the ICE stuff. That's weird. It's almost like the population voted for it. And all those other things where supermajorities have said, keep going ICE, we need to deport all the illegal immigrants. Kind of like that? Yeah. Again, but don't let the propaganda, don't let me tell you anything different than propaganda. It's not like, crap. Anyway, a Fourth Circle panel has vacated a nationwide injunction that blocked President Trump's anti-DEI executive orders. Who's here for DEI dying? I am. It's another one of those things which nothing's good enough, so I'm not going to vote, right? Every one of you voted for not going DEI. Come on. Everyone knows that was crap and everyone wanted to get rid of it. Well, turns out a Fourth Circuit panel just vacated a nationwide injunction. That means they got rid of it. So a federal circuit panel just got rid of the nationwide injunction that blocked the anti-DEI executive orders. So the judge in a lower court said you can't do the anti-DEI stuff. Fourth Circuit panel just vacated the entire injunction and said, yes, they can. Shut up. Now, again, if you're in the gun world and you're one of my gun 2A veterans, my 2A advocates and warriors out there, you guys know what this means. This means the next step is they have to take it to SCOTUS. Yeah, good luck. How do you think SCOTUS is going to rock on executive orders saying that you can't do this for a precedent? Because it's been done multiple times where they've just been flat out very kind to the executive powers. But there goes DEI. There's another thing that, I can't wait for Democrats to take back power of the House in 2026. Like, what? Why? It's just another thing that's just, at a certain point, you're just addicted to it. You're addicted to clicks. Anyway, here's another one, same thing. An appeals court just lifted a previous judge's ruling blocking Trump from gutting DEI. DEI is on its deathbed. Good. And if you're wondering, this is the Fourth Circuit of Appeals right there. You can see the entire thing if you want. Everything's linked. Oh, there's that guy. He did that. Yeah, so that's that. It's another thing that everyone voted for, along with the economics, along with the border, along with the lowering of prices and affordability and all those things. Gas prices going down. But yep. Definitely going to vote for Democrats. It's the silliest. God, it's so silly. All right, here's another one. Trump victory. A U.S. appeals court has just vacated an activist judge's injunction which halted President Trump's executive order gutting DEI in the federal government. President Trump is now free to fire any and all DEI hires which plague the executive branch. This is going to go fun. Grab your popcorn. I can't wait for the updates on this one and then all the crying and screaming of whatever they want to call. And I'm going to do the super chat that just came in, and then I'm going to say one last little bit of a monologue, because I think you guys deserve it. I think we're having fun. We got a lot of momentum. All right. Hold on a second. I think I got MP 1876 with a $5 super chat said, how long can it take for each Dem to say voter ID is Jim Crow 2.9? That's a good point. They'll say it over and over again. They used to try to read Bible verses, but I don't know. The Democrats might catch on fire or start screeching or something if they did that. So I can't do that. Maybe they'll read War and Peace. You know what the Democrats are going to say? The Dow hit that level because of the Biden economy. Yeah, well, the only problem with that is they've been screaming that the prior week was everything was going down and that was Trump's economy. So when it goes up, they can't really say Biden's economy anymore. They kind of shoot themselves in the foot all the time. Anyway, I'm just going to leave that there. And now we're going to have a little bit of an exit monologue. This is an important one. Yup, I'm going to do a lot more of these types of videos. Because candidly, and I'm going to be really, really candid. That's what I meant by candidly. I wasn't duplicitous or duplicative. We have a lot of people on our side who have a very large audience who are not doing the things and pointing out the things that you need to know. They're really addicted and stuck on the everything's negative. I'm going to go eat dirt. The sky's falling. Everything's going to end. And it doesn't, there's nothing that bears that out. Everything that has been voted for is starting to show up and in spades. And across the board, you're seeing changes in everything that was the main drivers of all the voting in the election in 2024. You know, that one that gave the House to the Republicans, the Senate to the Republicans, the White House to the Republicans, gave it all the swing states, and gave the biggest popular vote for a Republican ever recorded. That one, yeah, all of the things were immigration, affordability, pricing, groceries, gas, mortgages, housing, rent, and they're all going downward. This is the way that it works. Stock market is going upward, pricing is going downward, and we've still got people that seem to really want to scream about the fact that this one thing didn't happen. I got the 9 of the things that I wanted in the first year, but I didn't get 10, so everything's doomed. We're all going to go kick rocks and eat worms and then eat dirt after that. I'm sorry, I'm always going to bring you the receipts, but we are stuck in a doom loop that is being fed by addictive click behavior, and it's not going to benefit the country, and I'm just not going to do it. And that's just something that I'm going to do. And I will call it out when I see it. And I will tell you, I'm not going to call anybody out individually, but I am going to bring some, at least balance to the force. I'm going to straight up Jedi this. But anyway, that's kind of what I got. I got a super chat right over here real quick. Neil Jackson, $20 super chat said, food for thought. If Dems win the House and Senate, what are the odds they impeach Trump and Vance and Dems take the presidency? Extremely rare. Extremely low. Because that will be so detrimental to them. Here's the thing, and it's a good super chat. Here's the thing politically for them. They benefit more personally, like for the Democrat Party and Democrat brand, if they can only sit there and say we're challenging him and we're impeaching him and we're bringing these charges of impeachment and these charges of this and charges of that and we're fighting back. If they actually slay the monster that they're fundraising off of, they won't have anything to fundraise off of. So they're not going to remove President Trump. In fact, it'll only be a mainline detriment to the Democratic brand. They just won't do it. So I don't think they're going to get the Senate. I think it's a stretch they're going to get the House. I could be wrong. That's why we vote like we're losing, we grind like we're losing, we share like we're losing. But honestly, this is the entire point. You've got to grind and leave everything on the field, regardless of what people are telling you, regardless of the ex-mafia, because it is a mafia. It's all paid, it's all propaganda, and it's meant to disparage you and discourage you from doing anything to save yourselves. That's the entire point. And if I can help prevent that, I'm gonna. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. And I hope you resonate with the message. And of course, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. I will see you on the next one. I love each and every one of you, just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. Even Constable Autumn, one of my loyal lefties. Don't worry, guys. She'll get there. Just like Novocaine, we will convert. It'll only take time. But I will see you guys on the next one. Tomorrow, of course, we're grinding into this exactly like we do every single day because our country is that important. I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. Later.